Good morning, students. I am Nidhi Shreyas Bagalwadi, your science teacher, Sankalp Learning Solutions. In the last class, we discussed regarding sources of energy. In sources of energy, we learned regarding the conventional sources like wind energy as well as thermal power plant and the hydroelectric power plant. Today, we are going to continue the concept by learning certain conventional sources of energy, right? So here, the first conventional source of energy will take as fossil fuel. So what is this fossil fuel? The coal, petroleum, diesel. So these all are the fossil fuels. These are formed when all the plants and animals got buried under the earth for millions of years. So these plants and animals, they got decayed and they formed into coal, petroleum, and diesel. So such fuels are called as fossil fuels. Okay. Then fossil fuels are non-renewable sources of energy. They cannot be regenerated. So disadvantages of fossil fuel. The first one is whenever we burn the fossil fuel like petrol, coal, etc., they will release harmful gases which causes air pollution. Next, burning of fossil fuel release acidic oxides like sulfur dioxide. So these gases will dissolve in water and they cause acid rain, which affects the soil, which causes soil pollution, which causes water pollution, which also harms or damages certain historical monuments. Okay. Then burning of fossil fuels release very large amount of carbon dioxide which directly influences the greenhouse effect or increases the temperature of the earth. So that is global warming. Okay. So these all are the disadvantages of fossil fuels. Greenhouse effect. The Taj Mahal, it is made up of a marble. So due to the acid rain, it is losing its shining property. And here, the polar ices, the ices on the poles, the ice on a pole is melting, okay, due to increase in global warming. This all we learned. Next, we have non-conventional sources of energy. In that, the first one is solar energy. So as we come to know the solar, it is the energy which we will get from the sun. So from the sun, we will get light and heat. So the heat energy which we will get from the sun is used in heating the devices like solar cooker, solar water heater, solar furnaces. And the light energy is used in the solar cells so that we will get light out of it. The first one is solar cooker. So solar cooker will be box like guys. Uh, so it will be box like cooker and it will be having insulated box which will be painted black because the black color absorbs more heat. It is covered by a glass plate which allows heat to enter inside the box. The box is covered by a glass plate which allows the light to enter and it will not allow the light to escape out of it, heat to escape out of it. Then it has a mirror to reflect the sunlight from the box, and once the sunlight is reflected and it is not reflected back outside, so that heat inside the cooker makes the rice to boil or helps in cooking. It produces a temperature of about 100 to 140 degrees Celsius. Okay. So this is regarding solar cooker. The next one is solar water heater, which is widely used nowadays. So the solar water heater will be having insulated box, which is also painted black. Okay. And it will be having the network of copper tubes, and this is covered by a glass plate which will absorb the sunlight or the heat but will not allow the sunlight or the heat to go out. When water flows through these copper tubes they will absorb the heat and it will become hot. Next, solar cell which will use the light from the sun. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so it is a device which converts solar energy into light energy. So it is made up of a semiconductors. We can take like silicon, germanium, etc. So a single solar, a one cell of solar produces 0.5 to 1 voltage of current of about 0.7 electricity, watt electricity. Okay. So the advantages are it is a renewable source of energy. It will not get over. It produces electricity which will not cause pollution like hydroelectric power plant or thermal electric power plant. I'm sorry. It can be used in remote areas where there is no power supply. Then disadvantages, it is a use a special grade of silicon. It is made up of silicon. Na? Actually, it is very expensive. And silver is used for connecting the cells, and we know that it is also expensive. The current what is produced will be the DC, that is direct current, and it has to be converted into AC, which increases the cost. So overall, it is expensive. That is a disadvantage. So this is a solar cooker. You can see that, just a minute. This is a mirror and this is a glass cover, and inside it will be painted black. And this is nothing but the copper tubes. It will be covered by a glass. Okay. Then solar cell. This is a solar cell. Using the solar cells, they will produce, or they will design solar panels as well as solar lamp. Then we will get the certain energy from the sea, which is called energy from the sea. So we will get the energy in the form of tidal energy, sea wave energy, and ocean thermal energy. So what is this tidal energy? We know that the tides will be there, they will rise and they will fall. They will rise and they will fall due to the gravitational attraction of the moon. Okay, the gravitational attraction of the moon causes rise and fall in the water level, which are called tides. So a dam is constructed at a narrow opening between land and sea. So there will be opening between land and sea, narrow opening. Means the opening, the way should be very narrow. So what happens? The movement of water during high tide and low tide can be used to rotate the turbines in that path, so which will produce the electricity. Next, we have sea wave energy. So whenever a very, very strong wind blows over the sea, it produces very large or very huge waves. So the kinetic energy of these waves, okay, is used to rotate the turbines, and through which we will produce the electricity. Next, we have ocean thermal energy. Thermal means temperature. So there is a temperature difference between the warm surface of water and cold water at the bottom of the ocean. So the upper surface will be warm, the bottom surface of water will be cold. So this difference of heat will be about 20 degrees Celsius, the difference. So the warm surface of water is used to boil liquid ammonia. So the warm surface, the upper surface, and the vapor, the liquid ammonia, when you boil, that vapor, it is used to rotate the turbines, which will generate the electricity. And the cold water from the bottom is then pumped to cool the vapor, the ammonia liquid vapor that has to be cooled. It is done by the cold water, and again we will get back the liquid. Okay, this is regarding ocean thermal energy. See, tidal energy, turbine operation, valve open, this is an arrow opening, main valve closed. Like this, the tidal energy will be there. Sea water energy. See, the wave will come with a pressure, the turbine rotates, the electricity is generated. Next one is geothermal energy. So geo means earth. The deeper region of the earth will be having highest temperature. It will be very hot. So this it will be very hot means the temperature will be so much hot that the heat will melt the rocks and forms magma, and forms a substance called magma. Whatever the magma is formed, no, it will move up and it collect below at some places. It collects okay, below at some places, which is called as hotspot. Those places are called hotspots. The underground water in contact with hotspots, the underground water which is in contact with these places will be hot. Okay. So this water will heat it up, and it is so much heated up that the steam will be under high pressure. So by drilling the holes, what happens? The hot spots, the steam will come out. That steam is used to rotate the turbine, from which we will get the electricity. Heat transmission, focus of heat, geothermal electricity plant. This is a holes what you are seeing. The next one is nuclear energy. So this energy is released during nuclear reaction. So nuclear reaction means what? It is gives a very enormous amount of energy. So here what happens? Some mass of the substance will be converted into energy. So a very large amount of energy is produced during nuclear reaction. So we have two types in this. One is nuclear fission, the other one is nuclear fusion. Fission means what? In which nucleus of heavy atom like uranium, plutonium, the heavy atom will split into very smaller nuclei with the release of highest or large amount of energy. So this is used to make atom bombs and produce electricity. In nuclear power plant, what happens? Heat energy produced during this splitting of these atoms, okay, that is used to rotate the turbines from which electricity is produced. Then next one is nuclear fusion. So in this, the nuclear reaction in which a small nuclei will combine to make a large nucleus, okay. So this also releases a very large amount of energy. So the energy of a sun is produced by the fusion of hydrogen nuclei. So due to the fusion of hydrogen nuclei, we will get the solar energy or the sun energy in the sun. So the advantages of it is it produces a very large amount of energy, and it is more environment friendly than compared to fossil fuels. The disadvantage is it is very costly, and the nuclear fuel like plutonium, uranium, so these all are limited. These all are not renewable resources. And nuclear reactors, they produce very harmful nuclear waste, which is difficult to dispose. It cannot be thrown anywhere like water, soil, etc. See, this is a nuclear fission where one nucleus becomes two nuclei. And nuclear fission chain reaction, see, 1 2, again 1 2 3, like this it continues and releases a large amount of water. Nuclear fusion where two forms a large molecule. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. This is regarding the sources of energy. So we are left out with the last concept of sources of energy, which is environmental consequences, which will be dealt in the next session. Until that, take care. Have a nice day.